Here's a question. If there are two basic types of people, roughly speaking, those who claim they're perfect and may like to point fingers at others and blame others, and those who say they're not perfect and start to look at what their flaws are more and more, maybe even calling themselves in recovery in certain cases. Well, what are the mechanisms of action by which some people can even have the guts to claim they're perfect and don't need to work on themselves, and that everybody else is at fault as to any emotional or physical pain they suffer in life? Here are some thoughts I have. Maybe the person who claims they're perfect and that everybody else is the problem has a combination of outward idealized image proffered to the public and even themselves, combined with telling people basically nothing about themselves, their inner life, other than any flaws that can be considered virtues, say, like perfectionism, claiming that that's great attention to detail and valuable to companies. Or maybe they have a great love of money and then claim money is necessary to help other people and to maintain a sense of safety and power. So first, the idealized image might be of this sort of dressing impeccably, having a perfect weight, countering any blemishes, so to speak, wrinkles, what have you, having a great portfolio of money and other assets compared to some, a polished-looking house, well-manicured lawn, etc., being in the right neighborhood, avoiding, quote, the wrong types of people to hang out with, having the right car parked out front, which seems to be paid for in full to the public, by the way, also. Never revealing what your checking account really has or how much you're in debt on credit cards. Never revealing whether you sleep on the sofa and your wife in the bed, or that you only come together for dinner after emailing each other about what time to do so. And then you're in your separate corners, and dinner consisting of TV with no discussion, other than that we need to pick up milk and the kids are having problems again and need counseling, or what have you. Or to gossip about neighbors and thus claim that you're better than other people in general. Or maybe to complain simply about world events and politicians you don't like and think are nutso. Or maybe finally to complain about what you think is going to bring imminent disaster upon the whole world and maybe universe. And as per being vulnerable, maybe you're like some neighbors who have all their drapes shut, all their shutters shut. Maybe everything conveyed to anyone in public is on a need-to-know basis. Maybe you think that is necessary in order to avoid any possible hiccups in your career, or to be not scapegoated in the community. But of course, while that may be somewhat true, and one's also perhaps trying to avoid lawsuits even, seems to me a bigger factor here is how you convey yourself as to respecting others or not. For I once ran across something recently that physicians, for instance, who treat their clients well, get far fewer lawsuits. And of course, it's well known, I believe, that physicians often over-require on testing to avoid lawsuits and get criticized roundly for this. How interesting, perhaps, if we were to study that those with the best bedside manner, if we call it, the ones who provide the most emotional comforting and compassion and understanding to clients, may prescribe the fewest number of tests to cover possible lawsuit action against them, and go home and sleep the best at night also. and have the best reputation, and may even be able to charge the most money to some people if they wish to, and discount heavily to others at the same time. So it strikes me more and more that the claim one needs to be controlling one's vulnerability so that one can avoid lawsuits and keep their job as best, and even convey to anyone who purchases their product that they don't have flaws, and so they should be depended upon hand and foot and every word believed, can be quite a flawed perspective, I think, in the sense that the discussion of vulnerability, in my mind, of course, can be a liability unless one is conveying what you might call strong positive qualities like humility and understanding others and supporting others as per telling them they're doing the best they can and validating their strengths also. Thus validating their positive qualities and validating the negative qualities that they have in terms of culpability when we talk about blaming them, that they did the best they could given all the resources and constraints. Thus shifting markedly whether being vulnerable is a good thing and a bad thing, whether presenting an idealized image and revealing nothing about oneself and the inner realm is a good thing or bad thing in general.